Well, hello traders and investors. I'm LA Little and this is your weekly NeoTA wrap. We take a look at these markets and we ask ourselves, what happened last week? And what does it tell us about the coming ones? I do this show every Sunday evening, broadcast at or before 10 o'clock Eastern Time. It's archived on YouTube. It's under the channel LA Little. And if you haven't subscribed and you want to, just reach up in the right-hand corner and do so. Matter of fact, if you're doing that, you really should come over, hit the Get Started button here at the TA Today site. Pop in here, take a look at what is available to you at a ridiculously low price. Folks, you get all of these services. You get my expertise on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. Just got through doing my weekly broadcast to the members, telling them what to expect in terms of this retrace that we're in now, how it's going to unfold most likely, what it is that we want to look at next. Matter of fact, where is the next opportunity? And I uncovered that opportunity and gave it to them today. We'll be giving them trades into it tomorrow. You get all of that for a ridiculously low price. And if you're just a long-term investor, you could do a managed retirement advisory service. I always harp these things. I try not to bother you too much with this, but the price of what you get and how you get it and what it does for you, the whole package. It's an amazing service for a ridiculously low price. Let's look at what happened to markets last week. Nikkei just getting crushed on that yen. That yen is soaring, folks. And that yen, and in fact, the currencies is where the action is. I'm going to pop up, I'll come back to the daily here on this, but I just want to show you this yen. It breaks out, right? If you go to the weekly on it, this is a huge spike up. This is an ABCD structure to the top side. You've already had the ABC begin, right? That began back here. You got that push up into this area right here, it looks like. The pullback here, right? Now the expansion up. And if you measure that expansion on the weekly chart and you go to the monthly chart and take a look at the monthly, what you're going to see is it's going to come right into this area here, the swing point lows. I suspect that when it's over, it's going to trade right into this little zone right here, and then that's going to be the extent of the move on the yen. In the meantime, the Nikkei is just getting crushed as a result. If we pop over there and take a look at their chart, you don't want to be in those areas that are going to get crushed, right? The big piece about timing the trades here is being in the right spot at the right time and being able to put enough money on something to make it matter. If you wanted to short this or if you wanted to go long the yen, that was the trade, but you didn't want to be long this index. And as this index pulls back in, we're going to see it come back down. As I said there on the yen, as the yen pushes up, we're going to see this come back down. This is a huge range trade at best. And matter of fact, all this did was push back into this bearish retest regen zone and once more fails in an attempt to get over it, which is going to regenerate to the downside. And that's exactly what you see happening. If you look elsewhere, we'll go while we're here on these markets, look at some of the other Asian economies, in particular the equities, in particular the SSEC, which is the Chinese market. Now, the Chinese market so far is holding on a daily basis, right? It's holding this higher range. This is a key area for this market. That range is about there, and then you could divide it back up. There's another one that probably comes in about right at that zone, and then one more down here at the bottom, right? And so as this thing is trading in this range, and you can see it's really struggling, all the news now is good about how the Chinese market is probably over the soft patch, is going to get going. Well, if it's going to get going, you're going to see this get going too. So far, we don't see that happening. The question is will it happen? If we pull this back, look at it on a weekly basis. Let's grab the weekly here. If we pull it back, look at the weekly. There's nothing here either to tell me that. So you're just in this larger range, going to come back and try to test into the swing point low potentially. And on a monthly basis, huge declines in effect, and now a little bounce. Chinese market still not looking that good to me. Let's look at the Hong Kong market real quick. That's also a key one. Coming back into a test of swing point high. Now, the good thing here is that this test, as it comes back in, right, on this test here, if we could draw a line straight about right there, that test is probably going to get bought on the first retrace. Looking at it on a weekly, just came back up. And remember, this was doing the bearish retest regen, and this could not get over that swing point lows high. And so again, that says that this thing is going to probably at best go sideways and potentially retrace back and regenerate back to the downside. That's the Asian markets. The Asian markets look very different than what we see in the European markets, and that all has to come back to the currencies again. Currencies are driving these markets. You got to push up, you're back into a swing point high. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so you got more than 6 bars, right? And so this is a bullish retest regen back into the swing point high. I would expect this is going to hold and attempt to regenerate. Probabilities are very high that it will do that. As it comes back into test, should regenerate back to the top side. That's the German market. If you look at the French market is not as strong. It's also back in the big Draghi bar here. That breakout, it's also doing a bullish retest regen. You can see it here, right? This is the zone. Take the bottom of it, right? It's into that area. More than 6 bars. No, not more than 6 bars. It actually tested already, so this is just a normal one. This is about a 55% case that this one should bounce. But given the German index probably bouncing, you'll probably see this one do the same. And then if we go over to the one currency that is strong, which is the Swiss currency, and what it continues to do to its market, got a breakout, a swing point high up here, got a breakout there, does a test. The test here is an immediate retest regen bullish off this prior swing point high. And that's what it's doing, and I would expect as it comes back into this low area, it too will regenerate back to the top side, or at least attempt to. And so Europe, very different than Asia. Europe wants to go higher, Asia wants to go lower. What does the US want to do? Well, let's flip over there and take a look at that. Starting with the S&P 500. We'll pop it over, we'll look at the weekly chart here. And the thing you want to notice on the S&P 500 is that this area here looks very much like this area here. The question is will you get more of a pullback like we did here before the retrace, or will it just come from this level and retrace? As again, I told my members this morning, I expect this thing to retrace back up. The test of the bounce is going to be the key area. Where's it going to come to? I laid that out for them this morning. And unfortunately, I can't share everything I share with them. Otherwise, they wouldn't want to be a member. They just sit here and listen to this and get off for nothing, right? If you want a little information, or if you want more information, unfortunately, you do have to help support me. Let me help you, and for a nominal cost, of course, I will do that. But anyway, S&P, I suspect it will bounce. Question is, where will it bounce from? The real key is over here in the NDX. If you look at the NDX is pushing back into these highs, but this is really not the chart you want to look at. You want to look inside the NDX, and I outlined that again to members here this morning, and I expect you're going to get a bounce out of here as a result of what I outlined to them and why. And actually, there's some trades, counter-trend trades in those stocks if you want to make those trades. So as we get ready to wrap up here, I want to leave you with this thought. The S&P, yeah, is down. The whole market down last week, but S&P is actually up on the year. So is the Dow. The weight has been in the NASDAQ, right? I mean, that's where the dead weight has been. You don't want to be in those things that aren't doing well. You want to be in those things that are. And so you want to look to see where things are strong, right? Utilities, energy, materials, industrials, right? That's where the strength is. This comes from my friend Charles Kirk. I picked up... I get a weekly report. There's not very many things I read on a regular basis, but Charles is one of them. He's a good friend of mine. And, he put this out this morning. I thought it was very useful. Financials, healthcare, technology, that's where the drag is. That last year was driving the market. This year, it's over here. It's all of these that are driving the market. If you look at the 1 month performance, technology got crashed, right? Just totally crushed. Energy, materials, financials have been, financials picked up. But these two have been driving the markets, folks. If you want to be where the money is, get the wind behind your back. If you want to make the easy money, get the wind behind your back. Go to those places that are showing you strength. And just, go where the strength is. Stay out of the rest of the stuff. Till next time, I'll leave it at that. Thanks a lot. Take care. And I'll see you next time. Good night.